This is The Harp, found in Chris Van Allsburg's The Mysteries of Harris Burdick. I have the book right here, and there are a bunch of these illustrations, and they're all super duper interesting, but the harp is the one that inspired the Grossfarken and The Boy. So join me please on this little exploration of my creative processes in the creation of the Grossfarken. I first stumbled upon this illustration in a language arts class where we were assigned to finish the story like Allsburg intended. So, how did I come up with the monster, the Grossfarken, from this? Well, it all started from this little ripple here. And honestly, it's a little silly, but I just asked myself, what's the dumbest way for there to be a ripple there? And then I started imagining this guy dipping his toe into the water and leaving, and that's where the bulbous toe came from. And the rest of the Grossfarken kind of just built off of that bulbous toe. And I don't know why, but when I was given this assignment, I was thinking about Charlie from We Bare Bears. I have him right here. And I mean, he's dirty, he's a little peculiar, he would totally be in the woods playing a harp. So, the original design of the Grossfarken looked a lot like Charlie. I have those designs right here in this little book. This was the original design of the Grossfarken, based solely on the assignment from Language Arts. Now, by the time I was making the animation, it had been 2 years since that assignment, so I wanted to change some things up. Just one thing really, and it's his neck. And I just made it a little longer. And I like this change a lot. All of a sudden he feels a little more calm. He looks a little more comfortable. And he kind of looks like a tree. And I'm a big fan of trees. Now he does look a lot more absurd, and his neck does some funky things in the animation. But I honestly am a big fan of making designs more and more wacky. It feels like it perfectly embodies the name, the Grossfarken. And on that name, I have no idea why that popped into my head. It was completely random. The boy and the mother were the first designs I had to come up with exclusively for the animation. I had drawn the Grossfarken before making the animation, but with the two humans, I only had vague ideas. So, let's get a little unscripted and look at the Gross Files. Now these Gross Files, they have our concept art of the boy and the mother. And ooh, let's take a look at that. That is pretty dismal. This was me playing around with the general shapes of the mother and the boy. We see that he's pretty round here, he's looking happy, he's looking nice. And the mother here is very angular, very sharp. And I kind of use that as a way to say that the mother's set in stone, the mother's really rigid in her ways, but the boy, he's a little bit more malleable, he can change, and he does change over the course of the story. But this was the original designs, these were the main ideas I had, this was what was in my head. And then I expanded on it in the following pages. Let's zoom out here. We can see that I was playing Hollow Knight while I was drawing all this. And we're getting a better feel for the boy. His head, I wanted it to be like very round, and I wanted his hair to be a bowl cut, because I just think that looks a little more innocent. And he's wearing a shirt here that has a little sapling on it. And I really did like that idea, because it showed like the mother was not treating him the best. She was giving him big clothes that didn't fit, and they were torn a little bit in future drawings. You can see that here. There's a little bit of patchwork done there. Let me zoom in on that. A little bit of patchwork, and this was pretty much my favorite design. Clothes are ripped, big baggy clothes. The mother's not giving him nice clothes, you know, she's not treating him right. She's not giving him shoes either, but the mother has shoes, so there's some disparity there. You can see she's pretty angry. And I did really like this shirt, but I was talking to friends and family, and they were advising me, change the shirt. He's a little 1800s boy. He's a little medieval boy. He's got to dress like a nice little squire. So I started changing the design. I was looking up little squire costumes and figuring out what to do from there. So I came across this design and this design. And I still wanted to go for that mistreatment vibe. So I gave him clothes that were a little bit too big for him. And of course, no shoes. And if we keep exploring, we can see that I still did really like the idea of the sapling shirt. And I think I played around with it even more. I did, yes. In this drawing, you can see the mother and, of course, the Grossfarken coming to shape a little bit better. The sapling shirt made it quite a long way before I got rid of it. And you could ignore this guy, he's just here. But here, the mother and the boy are a little bit more set in stone. The mom's got wide shoulders, very wide, very strong, more of like a square character. And the boy is very circular. He can be molded and shaped, like I said before. It's very cool. And we can see the Beware the Grossfarken signs coming into play here. We got our bat, and we got our little mallet that hammers in this sign. And we've got our harp here. And this is not how the final harp looked. There will be more on the harp later. And yeah, this is all of them in proportion to each other. The Grossfarken is extraordinarily tall. And I was once again playing around with the sapling shirt being its own thing. And then, yeah, I was really attached to that sapling shirt idea. But it just did not pan out. And if we keep looking, we're getting a lot more solid. We're getting to that squire outfit that he had. We got a little bit of a big dress, but then we're getting more into the design we're familiar with. He's got the little ribbon around him. He's got the little stitches in his cloak, his tunic, I should say. And yeah, this was pretty much the design of the Grossfarken, not the Grossfarken, the boy that I ended up going with. And the mother too. Mother right here is pretty much the final design. And these ended up being the final designs for the mother and the boy. The original story refers to the story I made for the assignment in that language arts class. And if I had to give any inspirations, I'd say the story is heavily inspired by stories like The Gruffalo and stories like Hilda. I especially love the animated series of Hilda. Now, what I'm about to show you is pretty poorly written, and it was a little over 2 years ago that I wrote this stuff, so things have definitely changed. And I'm gonna talk about it. So here is the original document. I don't actually have the original document, but this is all the Google Doc logs copied over into one document. Now first, and most insanely, I wrote this story exactly 2 years before I released the animated version. This was not planned that way. It was actually just a crazy coincidence. And in these first drafts, we see the word Waldensamkeit, or I should say Waldensamkeit, a German word meaning something along the lines of being alone in a forest and being connected to nature. And I really wanted that to come through with the story. Further into March 26th, we can see some things that I did not include in the animated short. Specifically right here, birds taking flight and deer showing their heads. I added this in this story to explain and emphasize how the Grossfarken has a rejuvenating effect on nature and animals. However, I got rid of this from the animation because, one, I didn't feel that deer would be in the swampy creek atmosphere, and I think the Grossfarken having a more silent effect on nature through plant life gives the Grossfarken more of a serene feeling. He isn't controlling the animals through his song. He's giving life to plants once wilted, and we can see this in the final animation. Another interesting idea from the original was that the boy would enter the creek through the bushes, but see the creek and decide to swim, and it's the splash of water that alerts the Grossfarken and causes him to flee. This was honestly a pretty cool idea, but it's just one I completely forgot about going into the final story, and it didn't even make it into the final assignment. Now, late at night on March 26th, things start to get a little horrible. The boy is swimming, and the Grossfarken notices a gash on his leg. This is what makes the Grossfarken call him to the rock. And then, the Grossfarken runs his hand over the gash and heals it, kind of like a Jedi or something. But this was a little too magical for the story I was trying to tell, so I cut it from the final story and the final assignment. Pretty much everything else is the same, but it was pretty cool getting to see the ideas that I only just played around with in the earlier drafts of the assignment. Thank you for taking this trip into the origins of the Grossfarken with me. Next week, we will be talking about the writing of the Grossfarken, taking the draft and original concept we explored today and making it official into a story and a screenplay. See you then.